I may be counting my chickens before they hatch. Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I'm coming to you with a reaction video to my very first book haul. Most of the time people do these to see if they've read the books or not, and that is what I'm doing this for. I want to see if I read the books that I buy. But also, this was the third video I ever posted on this channel. So please understand that I had no idea what I was doing. The footage is blurry, I look horrible. We're just going to overlook all this as we watch what I hauled. I honestly cannot wait to see what's in this book haul because I have no idea if I've done good or poorly at this point, but I am a little nervous to watch it. I pulled it up and the thumbnail is just awful. I clearly did not know what I was doing and I look horrible and the video is extremely blurry. So I would not recommend going back to watch it. It is not even slightly the quality of videos that I put out now. So it's not worth going back, but it is worth going back to see if I read the books I buy. I'm not sure if I read the books I buy, but let's find out. I have the laptop right behind the camera. So if during the reactions I'm looking behind you, that's why. The video is back there. Anyway, let's dive in and see what I hauled a little over a year ago. So the first one I picked up is Christmas Bliss by Mary Kay Andrews. Okay, I had to get up and get this one, and it is Christmas Bliss by Mary Kay Andrews. I have not read this book. This is a Christmas book, and maybe I'll read it this holiday season. I should probably prioritize it, but I haven't gotten to it. It's small. I have no excuse. I just haven't read it. The next book I grabbed was The Sanitarium. Okay, the second book on this list is The Sanitarium by Sarah Pearse. I did read this book. This book gave me so much anger. It's not even funny. It was a 5-star book for most of the book, and in the last 100 pages, it crashed and burned and ended up being a 2-star read. I have since unhauled it because I don't need it on my shelves. So that one's going into the unhaul list. Let's see what else we have. The next book I picked up was 500 Miles of You by Jenny Colgan. Okay. So we have 500 Miles from You by Jenny Colgan. This is the third in the series. I own the second and the third. So that's something. So I definitely need to read the first book, and I would need to get the first book to read this one. So I obviously have not read the third book. I do need to get on this series though, because it has now been sitting on my shelf for a very long time. And the first book in the series is Bookshop Around the Corner, which is a book about books. So I love books about books. I'm gonna love this series. I just need to get around to it. Well, realistically, I need to get the first book and then get around to it, but you know what I mean. This is another book that I've been wanting to read for a while, and it's Chicken Sisters. Okay, Chicken Sisters. I actually read for a video earlier this year about reality TV show competitions. I'll link it somewhere above. But I did read this book. I gave it, I think, 4 stars, but I have unhauled it. I didn't see any reason to keep it because I wasn't ever going to reread this book. It was a fun time, but I'm not a big rereader. And this would definitely not be one that I would pick to reread if I did choose to reread. But it was a fun time, and I did give it 4 stars. And it was The Secret of Whitestone Castle. Nice. The Secret of Whitestone Gate. I said castle in the video, but it's definitely gate. But this is a duology, and at the time of getting this book, I had not read the first one. But since getting it, I have read both of these books. I read the entire series, the first and the second, done and dusted. And we have another red book. So the next book I got was The Swan Riders. I have not read this one. It is The Swan Riders by Erin Bow. This is a dystopian series. It's a duology. I would love to read this one, but I have not read the first. But unlike the other series where I hadn't read the first book, I at least own the first book, The Scorpion Rules. So at least I have it. I could read it. There's no reason I couldn't. Why I haven't, I don't know. I love dystopian books, so I should really like this series, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Somebody needs to help me read the books I own. And it's The Case of the Murderous Dr. Cream by Dean Job. This one I am a little embarrassed about because this has been on TBRs for readathons, and I still have not read it.
Plan was fine. Our execution was a little off.
You know those TBRs that I make videos for readathons and seasons? I'm not necessarily the best at sticking to those. So, books end up on those TBRs and I don't necessarily read them. I feel like that's relatable though. I think you can relate, but I have not read this book and still need to read it.
So I got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson.
Had I filmed this video 2 weeks ago, this would have been in the unread column. However, I've read it. It got 5 stars. I loved this book. I need to continue on with the series. I have the second book on my shelves, and I will definitely be reading it, hopefully very soon. Loved this book. 5 stars. It's staying. It's going nowhere. It's going to be a shelf collector, and here we go.
And I got Other People's Houses.
Yeah, no, I have not read Other People's Houses yet by Abby Waxman. This was even a buzzword choice for me for this year. I ended up replacing it with something else that I've already read because I was so behind on my buzzwords for the year. I will complete buzzword, but not with all the books that I said I was going to complete buzzword with. This being one of them that was replaced with another book. I will read this hopefully sooner rather than later, but I have no immediate plans to read this. It's going to be an unread book for this reaction.
And this is The House of Hidden Secrets by C.E. Rose.
Well, you saw me starting to laugh when this one came up because it's The House of Hidden Secrets. And what you may notice is it has a bookmark in it. And it has had a bookmark in it since about February. I don't want to DNF it, but obviously I have not been reading it since February, which means it is a book that I will be putting in my Goodreads cleanup video at the end of the year. So this will be read before the end of the year, but as of right now, it's not read, but it's also not unread. I think we'll put it as unread, but half read.
This next one I found was My Little Eye.
I'm not going to lie to you, I forgot I owned this book. So it's obviously unread. This happens quite often. Books go on my shelves. I forget that I own them, but I'm actually quite interested in this thriller story. So I will want to keep it. I'm not unhauling it. I'm going to try to read it at some point. I can't really say soon for all of these because that's just not going to happen, but at some point.
The next one I got is The Stranger Inside by Laura Benedict.
Can I plead that I forgot this book too? Because I did. I definitely also forgot that I owned this thriller. This thriller sounds really interesting though, because it's like someone moves into their house while they're on vacation and then refuses to leave. Like, it's really an interesting concept. I'm excited to read it, but I forgot I owned it. You know, this is a problem when you have a TBR that is just too large. These kinds of things happen.
And it's called Crazy Busy Guilty.
Crazy Busy Guilty by Lauren Sams. This, even in the video, I'm very honest that I picked this up because it was a 3 for $10 deal and I needed a third book. And now I'm actually not really sure if I'm interested in reading this book. So I might put this in a pile to do a try a chapter for and see if I'm still interested in keeping this or if I should just unhaul it. I think that's what I'm going to do for this book because I'm not really sure if I'm actually still interested in this or not.
The Confession of Franny Langston.
I was so positive about this book in the video, and I actually ended up unhauling this book. I DNF'd it at about 100 pages. It just wasn't working for me, and to be honest, I can't really even go into why it wasn't working for me because it was so long ago that I don't remember. But I DNF'd around 100 pages and have unhauled it. So if you were doing the math along with me, that left me with 9 books I need to read, 4 books I unhauled, and 1 book that I read and I'm keeping. Not the best odds, but I mean, all the unhauled ones I did read. So 5 read and 9 unread is not actually that bad when you think about it. One thing that I've seen other creators do is that they let people vote on their reaction videos to pick a book for them to have to read. And I think that's a fabulous idea. So of the 8 books that are unread, I know technically there's 9, but 1 I'm halfway through. So we're not going to count that one. Please write a comment down in the comments with the one you want me to read, and I will read one of those next month in December. Completely up to you. There is a holiday book in there, but it is up to you. I'll make sure to put the winner in my Timmy's TBR video next month or at the end of this month for you to see who won. And I can't wait to see what you pick. For the books that are later in a series, I'll just read the first book in a series. So that's fine. They still are up for voting. I will just read whatever the first book is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video concept and seeing my very horrible first video. It's not the best quality, but you know what? I was learning and it takes time to learn all the things that you need to know with BookTube. So I'm going to give myself a little grace on that one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help my channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.